Rod Goosen and Spoon for risk for December 14th. It looks like we're getting right into a short right now. And the real question is, where is this going to go? Where is this headed? And it's a bit of a quandary because there's been a lot of pressure, as we all know, for the market to be trying to get up to that 20,000 level. And the market has been rallying strongly in that direction. However, as we all also know, the tendency is for it's got to find some real good support for that rally to get going. Now, when we look at the composite, the most recent composite shows a POC at 2251, which basically fills the gap going back to the earlier part of the week. And so that could be a nice target this morning. But we really have to see how this is going to behave, whether this is going to continue to move higher or not. We see the premium is beginning to drop here. And we may have to average into our position at 67.75. This nice first bar down that we show here on a slightly delayed session. Let's just see about that. We changed that. That should be the open. Yeah, that's the open. So I'm expecting the drop based on this first bar down. Yeah, there's the delay. Okay, INX is moving back up, moving higher. See if we can get 67.75 in on this short. Okay. We got a little bit of a fill there. And that should do it. See how low the premium was when we moved up there? Now we just have to watch to see if it's going to bounce off of 71. If the INX drops that low to begin with, that POC at 2271. We'll see if she'll bounce off of that or keep right on going down. I think she'll continue down. Alright, I'm going to get rid of this gap here and change the session time back to the custom session that we prefer to use. Okay, well, as you can see, we broke through the POC on the INX. And so we're coming right back down as we expected. Looks like we're going to get a little bit of a bounce in here. Okay, INX bounced off of that low value area. Okay, looks like we're coming back down. Here, we're testing that level right there on the INX. Pushing back up. Now we're using a 5-2 left-right strength here, and I'm looking at the premium as it's somewhat stepping up here. That's got me a little bit concerned, but now we're finally beginning to drop a little bit, and the key is to get through that level on the INX. I took a little money off the table and shifted my average down to 67. Okay, we're breaking below. Premium's got to drop. We need to get down below that 541 level. got a gap up here. That's going to get filled. We're going back up. 66.25. Nope. There we go. There we go. Okay, IMX is about ready to come back down. You see the YM moved up to its, no, IMX is still going up. Okay, I think that was it. All right. I'm looking at the premium on the YM here. Premium finally dropped. Okay. Okay, good. Good. Okay, we'll come back in a few minutes. I think this is going to continue down. Okay, now look at where the INX is here. This is a good place to expect a bounce. Yep, and I think that's exactly what's going to happen here. We're out. Maybe a little bit lower. Okay. Yeah, see how the premium was, the lows were continuing to move up, and so that's too high. So we got out of the short. We may get back in, but really, that wasn't a bad trade. Started at 67.75. We took it down to roughly 64. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. Our expectation, however, is that this will go lower. We'll at least hit the low of the morning, and then that's the real question. Are we gonna get much below this low of the morning? Because 51 makes sense, and that's exactly where this could go. But we don't know. We're not low enough yet to really make that call. I may just go ahead and get back in here. All right, we'll come back in a few minutes. Okay, so we broke 62. Premium is still high. So let's see here. First big dip, 841. Another dip, 856. It's about 15 minutes. And so we were due for a drop, which we didn't get. And instead, it goes the other way. I'm out. Well, let's see. Yeah, there she goes. Well, I took a short up there. This is a really kind of an interesting pattern, and I honestly don't know quite what to make of it. We're not getting any higher. Premium is not going higher. Now, I am real sorry for the audio distortion earlier, and I hope we've now corrected that. Pardon me, won't happen again. All right, right at the moment that we said premium is not going higher, all of a sudden we got this big spike. Now you saw it really obvious there on the YM. So that somewhat suggests that we are finally beginning to move back up. And so logically, we don't want to be short here. And we took a short, and I'm saying to myself, it's too risky. We want to be long in here because it looks like we're going right back up. But what I was saying is that the premium was not going higher. However, that only applies to the highs. The lows were going higher, but the highs were not going higher. Now, when the market is shorting, in particular, you need to be watching the lows, and that's what you've got here. And we bailed on the original short, maybe a little bit prematurely, got back in, and then we finally got out. And then the confusion about whether we're long or whether we're short, and now it's pretty clear we're long. Now, whether this is the ultimate reversal here or not remains to be seen, but the premium says we're long in here, but we've got to start now getting higher highs on the premium. And while we got this nice spike up here and a slight increase in the premium, it dropped down again. So we're going to retool this and come back. All right, see how we're bouncing off this low value area on the YM. All right, finally we're getting a little higher on the premium now. It looks like the trend has shifted. So much for the short, and we're heading back up. So, target, new high for the morning. Certainly back up here to 66.50. So So we'll come back. All right, let's take a look at this again. This is a little frustrating this morning because we are still dropping in the premium. We figured that we would be going up, but now we started to drop, as you can see. Now we're starting to go back up. We have not continued getting new highs. Of course, we have not gone higher either. It's trailed back, and now the INX is about to bounce off of this low area here at around 66.89. All right. Now, if that holds, then yeah, but it's looking to me like we're going to go right back down to the low of the morning. Unless it bounces right here. The premium is up a little bit, and it's taken off, and that's good. Okay, all right. I think that's the key. Because what we need to see the premium really starting to move up, and just now you saw that take place. That is what you would expect to see if this market is going to rally, and now it's really just a matter of whether it continues. Okay. All right. If we can get this thing back up to 67, we'll call that a good trade for the morning. So we'll come back a little bit later and see how things are performing. But again, premium was stepping up over here at the low. We were at 504, all right, at the low here. We're at 505 at the low here. So just slightly lower, not enough for us to be concerned with. But what was really the concern is this drop in the premium here followed by this drop here. Now, we finally got back to a divergence right in here, but then again the premium started to drop. Now we're diverging again. It dropped a little bit more, and we're divergent even more so here, and finally we're getting some spikes up. But we got to get some pivots that are above this negative 450 area. Wow, that is really like a threshold, to say the least. So we've got to push above that 419 level, and that's what we'll be looking for as we move higher, and hopefully we will. But we're not going to lose anything on this long trade. So it either works or it doesn't. I got stopped out, and now I can only conclude that we are still long. And it really depends on whether or not we break through this threshold here on the INX, or this level there at 66.95, 66.89, as shown here. I think that's pretty accurate. we're dropping. Okay, are there, and we're going lower. Not what I was hoping for. All right, it looked like we might be bouncing off that level. And you see it's in here at 514. Yes, a little lower, but only slightly lower than that 512. Boy, this is tough. This is tough. I'm long, as you can see, but it is now 10:11, and the 10:30 time frame is coming up here in about 20 minutes. So this the selling going on here, if we get into 10:30 and we're not beginning to really take off, then this thing may in fact just be a slow death in here, and making it very hard to pick out where we ought to be short. So, but at the moment we're long, and you see why we're long. We're looking at these support levels on the daily market profile. We saw how this bounced here, here, and logically here. Premium was not really forecasting anything. It wasn't that low. It wasn't particularly divergent. So all I'm looking for is these highs. We've got to push up on the premium. Got to see that happen if this is going to continue. And as you know, it has not done that. And that's the problem. So we'll come back. All right, well, now we get our first bar here. It finally went above the 424 level. I don't think it made it above 419 though. No, it did. Good. That's what we want to see. Now, let's take it up to 65. Well, here again, we see the frustration, and it is now 10:31, and that's a key time frame. If we don't begin to get some real buying going in here, it's not likely going to happen. And you saw how we moved up here, premium was dropping again, and down we come. Now, the YM had a nice spike up here, but it wasn't sustained. So we'll come back in about 5 minutes, and if we're not going back up nice and with a little momentum, we're going to short this. Now look at the INX. It is continuing to drop. It's dropping. It's dropping. Okay. Finally moved up. Coming back down. Nope, that's it. This thing is short. I'm almost certain of it. Don't want to be long in here. Enough of that. Enough of that. All right, it is now 11:45. And let's recap what's happened here. This has been a very unusual pattern. We said around 10:30. This is a very significant time. And it was into 10:45 when we hit this low. And as far as I could tell, we were going to continue to come down, particularly because of this low bar on the premium right there. You see it here. Now, I grant you this is a 20-second chart. But here we are now up at 65, and I'm saying it's time to short this thing again. And that's just what we're doing. We're shorting this. We look at the INX, came up here, came right up to the upper value area, and now we see the INX finally beginning to drop again. The YM came way up, all the way to the projected upper value area at 851, and now it's coming back down. I'm thinking we're short because this bar. Furthermore, you've got a gap here. You get a 20-second gap right there, and that'll have to get filled. So we're short. No two ways about it. It's the only logical thing to do. And we'll see how that pans out. And here you can see this gap here on a 20-second chart, right there, an high of 61.75. That's got to get filled. Okay, we'll be watching for it. Now here's another reason why we're short. Okay, I'm taking shorts in here. Now here's this big bar on the YM premium up at 47. Okay, and we were almost up here to the 19.850 something. Right up here at the top, 19.849. Okay, Now look at where the premium is. We are so much lower than we were. Okay, now we may pop up here and test 66.75, which is amazing. But everything I see here is short, and you know, there it is. It's a gap. There's a big bar down. It's a naked bar on even a 5-second chart. It's a naked bar. So that's what it tells me. Just read it. I'm not trying to pattern it. I'm not trying to do anything but just read the data, and that's what it says. So that's what I go with. We are now going to just wrap up our discussion. You know, I should have mentioned earlier today, as the market was, and particularly the premiums, continuing to forecast higher lows, but we weren't getting any higher highs, that typically on a Fed day, you're going to get a rally. That is historically correct. Fed days rally into the announcement. And I was just anticipating, you know, maybe this thing is going to come back before we get there, and then when the announcement hits, we'll just see it drop even further. Well, it did drop it further, but it continued to rally up, as you can see. So we really didn't. We don't want to trade at that point, so we dumped everything before we really had a chance to do anything after the announcement. But everything else came to pass as we expected. Market did, you know, drop back down to fill that gap quite easily, and furthermore, it came back and hit that wrong screen. There we go. The 51.75 level that had been forecasted over here. So all of that having now taken place, if you know what you're doing when you're reading the premium, you had some real good opportunities for trading after the announcement. So with that thought in mind, we'll finish it up. I'm Rod Kusin, Spoon Man for Risk.